What up, little darlings? We are continuing on in the power outage in the wake of Stern Forn. Yep, that's where we're at. Winter Storm Fern, 2026, snowpocalypse. I should be getting my power back by February 8th. This was the last night this week that was going to be super, super cold, so I decided to stay home. Not that I had much option. There wasn't a lot of opportunity to work tonight. And yeah, just gonna keep my pipes warm, hopefully for me and for the neighbors that I share my wall with. And yeah, so just been doing a lot of studying as far as like Bible study, Zohar study. Almost have done a whole Kabbalah course. I'm on class 10 of Kabbalah 6 tonight, and that's 10 of 10. And so I've been really enjoying that all week. I take Kabbalah classes through the Kabbalah Center, and if you go to onehouse.kabbalah.com and you sign up for a free account, you get access to a lot of their content. But if you want to take like ongoing classes, like I'm always signed up in classes. There's like one Kabbalah, at least 1 through 9. I think I've taken Kabbalah 10. I've taken them all like a couple of times, several times. So it's a really amazing resource to have. That's kind of what I have as church, as far as just like a spiritual community and source of my spiritual nourishment. But they have broadcasted like Shabbat's live broadcast. They have live broadcast on like the holy holidays, all those throughout the year. So, but I really love it. That's where I take a lot of my classes and get a lot of my Zohar wisdom from. So if you guys are ever interested in that. So I've been doing that, and I've also been watching the 2026 prediction series. So the prediction series is in the link in the description box below. It's $12. But it is a comprehensive workshop for the year. Not just a prediction series, but also a point of self-reflection. It's like the spiritual workbook for the year. So I have watched the yearly overview and did the journal questions for that over this past week or so. And those were insanely helpful and gave me so much clarity, so much feeling of just like levity and lightness and confidence and boldness and vision. And then I did the quarterly for winter. I watched winter and I did those journal questions, and I honestly was comforted to know that whatever I'm going through right now with the storm, with not being able to work, God's providing. He's sending me helpers. He's sending me angels. And everything is going to be okay because people are coming together and they're doing acts of sharing and they are showing support. I woke up this morning with just like a whole bunch of texts from work from people who were just like, Liz, like, how are you? We miss you. Like, what have you been doing? Like, are you okay over there? Like, we're all wondering about you and talking about you and missing you at work. I'm like, oh my God, like, I love everyone. So I miss everybody at work. Everybody misses me. But that was so heartwarming to hear and feel. And as you guys know, my sister came by the other day. My sister and brother have been looking out for me and providing support. I'm probably going to stay with my sister this next week, and you'll get to see pieces of her house, I guess. Because it's going to be a little warmer. I still won't have power, but I won't have to worry about the house freezing, and I won't have to deal with the generator. And you guys have probably been hearing the generator in the background. So that, and then the of the space heater. So you'll get a little taste of my sis's house. She has an East Nashville, historical cottage. So cute. So that'll be fun for all of us. All right, let's get into the reading. So we're here for the weekly energy oracle forecast. The reading that I did for myself this week couldn't have been more on the money for the 2026 prediction series. I was just watching I digressed, but I was just watching January before I decided to go ahead and make this video, so I paused. But already the January reading has given me, so I was going to say the quarterly reading has given me comfort to know that like I'm getting through the situation. Everything is, you know, playing out as it should. It addressed a lot of the collective psychological and spiritual challenges that we're up against, and material challenges and mundane things as well that we're up against as a collective and individually. But then when I started watching January, I mean, oh my gosh, like it was so like hitting every point on the head so far that we've all experienced for January. So again, I can't wait to get into those journal questions tonight, but I am shamelessly plugging this because I really stand by it, really believe in it. So every video has journal questions that correspond to the work in the video, and you'll have an overview of the year. So that'll be a reading, and then you'll have readings for each quarter for the seasons. Winter, spring, summer, fall, and then you'll have monthly readings for each month, and each reading, like I said, has their own journal question. So $12, like ongoing resource throughout the year, but already it's been well worth it. And I'm not even thinking about spending $12. I'm thinking about all the hours that I spent making this and doing it, and the sacrifices I did to take off work and stuff sometimes to make this happen. And that to me already has paid off, just in the what I've gotten out of it just from the 3 videos that I've watched so far. So check it out. And also it supports me during the natural disaster that is Stern Form, y'all, Stern Form. Oh my God. Okay. So love, we are like, this moment is really connecting us to agape love. The energy of all last week, as far as like where the Zohar was pointing, was about like deepening our connection to God through times of challenge and seeing the miracles working through the storm, essentially. And that's what I did all week. I just had miracles unfolding every day. And so this week, the seed level today talked about the awe of God, and really having the eyes to see and ears to hear the miracles that are unfolding, and recognizing the works of God when they're happening. And not only to see it and witness it, but let it like galvanize you to a point where it actually changes you. It makes you different. It is the seed of a transformation that is activated within your soul and spirit, and it's changing darkness and it's transforming darkness. So the seed level, we're at the seed level of this year in January and winter. We're moving into February now. And so we want to plant seeds of the highest consciousness, right? Unconditional love, agape love, unity, oneness, brotherhood. And the more that we come together in unity, the more positive the shift in the energy turns, the more we connect with blessings and protection and provision. So yes, love is the thing that is warming and mending and healing and changing and transforming. Everything that we do right now, we need to do it with a motivation of love, of wanting to make positive shifts and positive change and grow beautiful things, right? Not motivated by fear. Right? Tonight and today, like and over this last week, as I've been making these complex decisions, and sort of like also riding the wave of things that I can't control, I have made a conscious effort to choose based on love. Make my choices based in love and in joy and in positive goodness and in the love of God and in the love of one another, rather than from the seed level of fear and scarcity and doubt. And as I've seen the days unfold, I've been winning even grander prizes every day. And so it's just been very encouraging and lifting, right? You know that song, Love lifted me when nothing else could help. Love lifted me. So hope that's not triggering for anyone who has like church horrors, but the message remains. So love covers a multitude of sin. Love covers us in times of uncertainty. It shelters us and keeps us safe and provides for us. And even in my weekly reading for myself, my personal reading that I'm looking at right now, it is joy is a huge theme for this week. And remember, the Spirit of God needs that joy and that love and that well-being and that peace to draw near, because it needs to share affinity of form, right? Vibrationally speaking, we need resonance. Dissonance pushes something away, so we need to share that affinity. Oh my gosh, Nexus. Community, connection, how everything is interconnected, how we are all interconnected, seeing the interconnectedness of it all, feeling our connection to one another, supporting and connecting into our community and our unit and communal sharing and like communal support, tribal support, right? Inclusivity, friendship, making sure that people are taken care of. I have met my neighbor across the street for my first time this week. And, she invited me to be in the group chat for the street. And I was like, no, thank you. I cannot handle a group text message. But she's like, well, do you want to exchange? So we've been exchanging and, we've texted a little bit and not too much or anything. That's too much too. But just enough to build a nice friendship, right? And just to say, hey, I'm looking out for you. You have a person who has your back across the street. Same with the girls next door, right? And so you can feel that is a protective energy around the street, even to the consideration of when my brother lent me his generator. And I have been so fortunate to have this generator all week. But, the question has been, what do I do with the generator when I leave, if I go to work or go to stay with my sister? And so, my mom was like, oh, do you think somebody would steal the generator if they're, desperate times call for desperate measures? I'm like, no, I don't think that's what anybody's going to do. I don't think that. In fact, I feel that the affection and kindness and generosity on this street actually protects this street. Even though we do have power outages on the street, we haven't had really trees fall in any major trees fall. The limbs that have fallen at the top of the street, I don't think that they fell on any power lines. But if they did, I like it. We didn't have as much damage as other places. And I mean, that was true during the tornado, all kinds of times. So I do feel, a real sense of something about friendship and sweetness on the street. And I always feel like we are protected. And I'm not saying that it's not also due to the intense prayer that I do every day that protects the street, but it's not a fearful prayer. It's just the devotee, in me. I just love, I do it for the love of it, right? So look out for the people around you. Nurture your community, nurture your nexus, right? See how everything is connected. My softening in my perception of my mom's concern for me also opened up the way for seemingly unrelated miracles to come in and provide me relief, right? So you see how everything is all connected. Speaking of, I need to touch base with her so she knows that I haven't fallen on anything fatal during the day. She's just vigilant right now because we're in a state of emergency, and I have to understand that. And I feel the same sometimes too. So it gives me more patience and more appreciation that she's, concerned. Ego, again, we can see when we're put under pressure where our fears come out, where our anxiety, right, where our worries are growing, where we can see those and pull those weeds out before they take hold, right? We can see where our shortness and our irritability points to lack of appreciation, right? So this has been a really good opportunity at the seed level of the year to see, okay, where are the gaps in our spiritual growth and our attitude and our perception, and where can we make those adjustments and really start to embody that as we move forward, into the year. Let's plant seeds of powerful transformation right off the bat. And here we have a chance to do it. Right. And just think, and, every time you've had a bad attitude or felt challenged or, strained during this event, and you have tried to see how to become stronger for it, that's released and put so much fertilizer into the things that you want to grow this year. So, right. Just this is what it means when you embrace the process. It means being in it, you do everything you can to be proactive, but you don't really fight the situation. Like this morning, I woke up, I got up from the couch at some point in the cold hours of the wee morning, and I went up into bed, and I just got under so many covers that it was like 50 pounds. But I got some heat generating, and I was able to go get some really nice sound sleep for a few hours. And when I woke up, it was later in the morning, and everybody was calling to check on me, and the day got away from me, and I was going to try to go to work tonight and go to my sister's. And before I knew it, just trying to get everything going on the farm now. It's not really a farm, but with not having the power, like having to do things that's like in a different weird way, it slows everything down, makes everything more tedious. And I was like, wow, it got to the point where I was like, if I even get to work, I'm going to be in a real rush. And so I kept just holding on to the idea that I was going to work today. I want to go see people. I'm stir crazy. I want to, start generating income. I'm excited to get back to it. But then there was another part of me that was like, you're not finished with your honeymoon with God. You're not finished with this spiritual sabbatical. It's not complete yet. Start Monday. So I wasn't quite comfortable to just jump on, taking a cut for the night. But then I realized that I had people helping me through the week. And maybe my coworkers didn't, because a lot of us didn't get to work any shifts this week, which means that you don't have a paycheck coming. And this is the week of rent. So I was just like, this is the culmination and the final exam of this week. It's like, do I trust the Creator? Because the Creator's been providing for me. So am I going to get to the end of the week witnessing all these miracles and then still want to grasp and control the situation and push to receive for the self? Dog eat dog world out there. I got to work this shift or I'm going to be in ruins. It's like, really, one more shift after all this? I don't think so. And when I made that decision today, at first I was like, I'm going to let the wheel of fortune decide, because they have this random wheel that they spin everybody's names. And if you get cut, then the wheel of rent lands on you, get cut. And I was like, no, that's not dealing with my tikkun of being indecisive and being a Libra. That's hiding behind that spiritual bypassing, hiding behind the spiritual concept of, I'll obey God. I'll let God decide my fate today. But really the assignment for me was to decide it for myself and to own the decision and do it boldly, with confidence. And instead of saying, I'm so anxious, I guess I'll take off, but I'm still worried about it. Did I make the right decision? Is this irresponsible, or am I being proactive? I don't know. Should I have persevered? Should I have fought for my place on the floor? Am I being sharing, or is this an act of laziness? Instead of doing that, I was just like, you know what? No. I believe that I'm being taken care of. I believe this is an act of sharing. I wanted to go to work today. God knows I've had enough time off this week. I am going to go back tomorrow. I'm going to believe that everything's going to work out, and I'm going to err on the side of giving and love. And I'm going to restrict the fear and the animalistic nature to look and go searching for bread. And it's so funny, because that was one of the messages of the Zohar this week was, a person without faith, busies themselves in material pursuits all day, and they worry that they won't be able to find a loaf of bread. I didn't realize that I had, so I thought that was interesting. It gave me even more of a peace to just be like, okay, this is the final exam for the tests of this week. I feel good about it. And so another interesting fact is that yesterday and today were like Imbolc Eve, and today's Imbolc, and that is the celebration of the Celtic and I guess Gaelic culture observes her as well, but Brigitte, the goddess of summer. And it's like they start, this is the start of like where you can see that the days are inching into growing longer again. We start to feel that winter has, it's like we're on the last leg of it. You know, it's a celebration and sort of like a hopefulness of like to get us through the last shitty part of winter, knowing that spring is coming, right? So it's so funny because there were all these little traditions that people were posting and talking about. And I thought it was so interesting because I've done a lot of those things before just on my own, not knowing that they were associated with this time of year. And I wondered if I was coincidentally doing them on this time of year, because I have memories of these rituals. But then one of the things was to put a rag outside last night for Brigitte to come by and bless the towel or the cloth or the rag with healing properties for the year. And it was like, you know, you could make a little like offering for nature or whatever outside. And it's so interesting because there was like this other legend about the name. I can't remember the name of the winter queen, or the winter goddess, but she on this day supposedly like she goes out and is supposedly going to gather the last of the wood that she needs for the rest of winter. And it's so funny because the other day, like even though I wasn't sure whether or not I was going to use my wood pit, the fire pit, just the gathering of the wood felt very spiritual, very ritualistic, very intentional. And I was like, oh my gosh, that really connects me with that. So I have my a piece of green velvet outside over the last couple of days. I was like loving the fact that I gathered all the wood and I made it into like very intentional piles. And then also what I've been doing is I had some leftover fresh baked yeast potato rolls from work that had leftover and I hadn't eaten them because I was eating my hollow loaf. So I've been feeding the birds with those crumbs. And today, like a little robin was like out when I started tossing the crumbs. You could see them trying to get through the ice where it had iced back over. And I was like, I've got food for you. And I scattered some roll crumbs, and the bird was like waiting for me to throw them down. And she saw that I was going to be still. I wasn't going to come any closer. And so she got a little closer. She's eating her little rolls from work. So I was happy to feed the little birds today. And I noticed that the other crumbs that I'd thrown down yesterday seemed to have been gone. So I think the squirrels and the birds and the deer all got to them. So I was happy and excited and glad. All right, last card, you guys, and then we are done. And I think after this, I am going to go on and record our full moon workshop for Leo. This was in my spread for last week, in my personal spread. It is the Nightmares card. And I just feel like this is a card where we are facing our biggest fears this week. We're facing our perceived nightmares. We're also watching literal nightmares play out in the mainstream of the world stage. Nightmares are coming forward that have been hidden, in the shadows. Nightmares are coming forward that we've all been sort of like had this underlying like dread that something like this has been coming, and that, this is the things that are playing out right now. This is what the conspiracy theorists have had, this like disembodied fear. It's not necessarily that the conspiracies that they've been spouting are valid, but the essence of their paranoia is being shown to us right now. Like the underlying looming like darkness that they were sensing is being exposed. So it makes sense when you hear the pieces and the bits of all of those old conspiracy theories. Bits of them are true. They're all kind of interconnected. And we're seeing how a lot of things may be going further back than we even think, that are stretched out further than we think they're connected to. I think a lot of it is connected. So again, I had this card last week, and I had a challenging week, but overall it was a triumphant week of facing fears and seeing what I thought my worst nightmares would be playing out, and seeing how I've been shielded with grace and mercy through these times. So hopefully, don't let this be too looming and too frightful for you, because I think that what we're doing is we're looking at our biggest fears, and that is taking the sting out of them. And it's making us feel more courageous and more brave, and giving us a deeper anchor into a sustaining and eternal source of inner peace. Wow, that was that packed a big punch. That was quite a last sentence, guys. I don't know if you noticed. All right, I am sending you all much love. I hope that you all are having peace and warmth and something good to eat. I am going to get more into Kabbalah class tonight after I film the next workshop, and I'm going to do my journal questions for January. And I hope that you will too. Go purchase 2026 Prediction Series in my Stand store. You'll follow the link below. You'll go to a very simple shop. It's like one page. You'll see the link to buy it. You'll just press buy now, and then you will have a link sent to your email that will give you access to an unlisted playlist on YouTube, and that is where the workshop is and lives. All right, you all. Peace. Ciao.